Hello and welcome to Rye Toast. I'm Mike Levy. Today's slice is entitled Dead Ends and Doorways, a young man's search for freedom from dead-end jobs. It is the summer of 1964 in London. I am 17. The swinging 60s are well underway. The Beatles' first movie is setting box office records, and BBC Two, the country's third TV station, has just gone on the air. I have recently left Christ College Finchley without enough O-levels to get to university, despite staying on an extra year. I am living at home with my mother and my little sister. I have no experience, no prospects, no ambition, no girlfriend, and no job. My mother has by now been forced to abandon successive levels of hope for my future. Her original position was that I would become a doctor or lawyer, later falling back to an accountant, then, for some reason, a pharmacist. Her greatest fear is that I will end up in a dead-end job. But she has, I think, come to the conclusion that desperate times require desperate remedies, and spoken to a friend of hers, the wife of the owner of a small stainless steel wholesaling business, and arranged for me to call for an interview. We do not have a phone at our home in North Finchley, so I walked to the call box at the top of our street, located between the entrances to the Tally-Ho pub and the public toilets. I insert 3 pennies into the coin slot. Chancery. 7, 8, 5, 1. Jennings and Son? I press button A on the phone to connect the call, and the coins drop into the bowels of the box. Oh, hello. My name is Michael Levy. I'm calling for an appointment with Mr. Jennings for a job interview. Righto. Mrs. Jennings told us to expect your call. Can you come in today at 3? We're at 4 Galen Place in Bloomsbury, just a few minutes walk away from Tottenham Court Road Tube Station, just around the corner from the British Museum. That afternoon, I emerged from the station, turned right onto New Oxford Street, crossed Shaftesbury Avenue, take the fork to Bloomsbury Way, and then left onto Bury Place. With the British Museum in sight, I passed Little Russell Street on my left and turned right onto Galen Place. It is a small enclave of buildings that were probably once well-to-do Victorian homes, now converted to business use and somewhat dilapidated. Number 4 is straight ahead of me, and I enter a small reception area where a young lady is seated at a desk. She looks up, smiles, and says, "You must be Mr. Levy." I hesitate for a moment. I am not used to being called Mr. Levy, and then nod. Yes. "I'm Rita. We spoke on the phone. Follow me. I'll take you right up." A man in his early 40s in a light grey suit stands up from his desk. He has a round, smiling face and slicked back jet black hair. He approaches and shakes my limp hand vigorously. "Come in, Michael. Have a seat." "Rita, cup of tea for Michael here. I'll have one too, and we'll have some of those delicious bourbon cream biscuits as well, shall we?" "Righty-ho. Coming right up." "So, Michael, I understand you'd like to come work for us here. Is that right?" "Well, yes, I think so." "What job experience do you have?" "Sorry, but I've never had a job." "No need to apologize. I assume you've been busy with studying and getting good marks." Not exactly." "Oh, well, not to worry. Good team player, are you? Football, sports?" "Well, I understand. No time for all that. Your age, I was staying out late, going to dances, meeting girls, what?" Thank you, Rita. Now, Michael, help yourself to milk and sugar. I always like to liven my tea up with a measure of brandy. Would you like some?" "I'm sorry to interrupt again, Mr. Jennings, but I have a very upset customer on the line, and he insists on speaking to you." "Very well, put him through." Mr. Jennings winks at me and clears his throat. "Hello, Carruthers here?" "No, I'm sorry. Mr. Jennings is at lunch with a client right now. May I be of service?" Oh dear, a week late, you say? Well, I am sorry to hear that. Please hold while I check with our delivery department. He cups his hand over the phone mouthpiece and whispers to me, Michael, please hand me another of those bourbon cream biscuits. They really are delicious, aren't they? Hello again. Our delivery department has told me that your order is delayed because it was on a lorry which was involved in a head-on collision with another vehicle and is now being repaired. Well, yes, we do have one other lorry, but that was the other vehicle involved. They collided head-on with each other. Terrible business, both a write-off. No injuries, luckily. Oh, yes, I completely agree. This is totally unacceptable, and I will definitely have Mr. Jennings call you the moment he returns. You are more than welcome. Goodbye. Where were we? Ah, yes. Welcome to Jennings and Son, Michael. The first thing I need you to do is to go to the off-license just around the corner and pick me up a fresh bottle of brandy. Here's some money. Oh, and don't let my wife see you doing this, or it'll be big trouble for both of us. Quick as you can, please. Uncertain of what to do, I put down my unfinished tea and half-eaten bourbon cream and leave. Well, Rita, what do you think? Mr. Jennings, I think he'll fit in just fine. And that's how I get my first job. I soon learned that Mr. Jennings can be witty, charming and likeable in his sober moments, but he is drunk much of the time and prone to sudden vocal outbursts of unintelligible tuneless opera, which he sings in exaggerated basso profundo while holding aloft a glass of his beverage of the day with one hand and conducting an imaginary orchestra with the other. The staff are obviously used to his antics. They just ignore him and go about their business. The angry customer calls are quite frequent, as is his use of a fictitious persona. Needless to say, the real Mr. Jennings never returns the calls. And one of my duties is indeed to surreptitiously carry out his liquor runs. But his wife, who is the company bookkeeper, soon notices my suspicious comings and goings. One day, she catches me red-handed and tells my mother. And that is the end of that. A dead end, in fact. One of my more conventional tasks has been to learn to operate the offset litho printing machine used to produce company stationery and business cards. This experience, such as it is, leads me to secure my next dead-end job at the College of Estate Management in Kensington, West London. I report to a supervisor named Bill, and we work in a small, poorly ventilated room which houses the equipment needed to produce the metal printing plates which are used to print the college's correspondence courses. I soon learned that the production process requires 4 steps: shooting, shaking, pressing, and baking. First, using a large table-mounted camera, shoot a picture of a page onto a glass photographic plate. Second, shake the exposed glass plate in a bath of carbon granules to create an image. Third, press the image onto a blank metal printing plate. Fourth, bake the image permanently onto the plate in an oven. It is hot because of the camera lights in the oven. It is dirty because stray carbon granules end up on my hair, skin and clothes. And it is tedious. But Bill and my co-workers are a fun bunch and I enjoy their company. One night, someone organizes tickets for a live concert given by a new rock and roll band who are fast becoming famous. They are called the Rolling Stones, but I still prefer the Beatles. The journey from North Finchley to Kensington High Street takes over an hour each way by Green Line bus, which gives me time to read the Daily Express and do the crossword puzzle. One morning, as we are passing Hyde Park Gate, I glimpse a large crowd congregating and waving on the street. I later learned that they are outside the home of Sir Winston Churchill, Britain's World War II leader, and have turned out to wish him well on the occasion of his 90th birthday. The date is November 24th, 1964. He will die of a stroke less than 2 months later and will be given a state funeral, an honour usually reserved only for royal family members. One day, college management announces that they are introducing new industrial-sized Xerox high-speed, high-capacity duplicating machines. These machines will shoot, shake, bake and print, as well as sort, collate, bind and staple blindingly faster, much more accurately and infinitely cheaper. The Industrial Revolution has finally hit the college like an express train ploughing through a line of horse-drawn buggies. It is not only the end of the road for Bill and me, but also for many of the printing and distribution staff, some of whom have been with the college since the 1930s. My next dead-end job is at a cleaning products manufacturer called Diversey. They have several divisions supplying commercial establishments, restaurants, car dealerships, hospitals, ships, and so on. Their agriculture division sells a product called udder cream, which prevents cows' udders becoming sore during milking. It also serves as a great unscented hand cream and is a fraction of the cost of anything available in stores, so I bring home huge jars of it for my mum and sister. I occasionally use some myself. I am a carding clerk, one of a group seated at a row of desks in the order department, which is a large and open area framed by banks of cabinets containing flat filing card trays, which run the length of the walls. Throughout the day, we receive orders mailed in from across the country by our field sales reps. I check each one assigned to me, then walk it over to the cabinets, pull out the card tray that corresponds to the sales area, and copy the order details by hand onto the card. Hence the title, Carding Clerk. The final step in my responsibility is to sign the order so that blame can be assigned if any errors are later detected, and then drop it in the inbox of my supervisor, who then separates the multi-part order copies for routing to various departments by inter-office mail. Yellow copy to sales, pink to accounting, white to central file, and so on. And then there are the blue copies. The blue copies are special. Too special for the inter-office mail. One day I am assigned to carry a package of the blue copies down to the basement home of the mysterious IBM department. I know little of what goes on in the IBM department, but I do know that it must be important, as their door is the only one secured by a keypad lock. I buzz on the intercom, and presently someone comes to relieve me of my precious cargo. The door is only open for a few moments, but that's enough to give me an impression of pulsating energy and bright lights, of a world of whirring, clicking, clattering, and electronic humming, and a glimpse of people scurrying around between large grey machines with metal boxes full of coloured cards. Are they feeding the machines or worshipping them? Perhaps both. And then the door slams shut. A few weeks later, during a tea break, I noticed a job opening posted on our department bulletin board. It is for something called a computer programmer to work in the IBM department. I read the brief job description, but I am not much the wiser. So that night, I tell my mum about it. Go for it, she says without hesitation. Whatever it is, computers are the thing of the future. And that conversation changes my life. Because I do go for it. I get the job, and with it the key code to the IBM department door. And just as my mum predicts, it is the thing of the future, but more importantly, the doorway to my future. And I finally find out what happens to the blue copies. And one weekend, at about the same time, I meet a gorgeous young lady called Madeline, who is to share that future with me. But that's another story. So now it is the summer of 1965, and I am 18. The 60s are still swinging. Sony has introduced the first home video camera. Elvis Presley has turned 30, and the Beatles' second movie is packing in the fans. I now have some work and life experience, a good job, bright prospects, growing ambition, and a wonderful girlfriend who will become my wife less than 3 years later. I have acquired Winston Churchill and Mick Jagger anecdotes, which I will continue to roll out at appropriate moments, just like this one. And I also have a lifetime supply of udder cream. So what's the learning from this story? I think there are two parts to it. One, a dead-end job is better than no job at all. It could be the stepping stone to your next opportunity, and you never know how quickly or profoundly your life can change from it. And two, none of that makes any difference if you don't listen to your mother. What do you think? And now for the story behind the story. Everything I've related to you is true, but I did take some license with the details of my interview with Mr. Jennings to advance the timing of some events. I also changed his name, but not for the same reason he did. Sadly, both his business and his marriage soon failed. My second employer, the College of Estate Management, was founded in 1919 because the scale of British lives lost in the First World War had led to a shortage of trained staff to manage the country's estates. It still exists today as the University College of Estate Management and is now located in Reading, a few miles outside London. Its online learning programs are attended by upwards of 4,000 students in about 100 countries, who can now do their own shooting, shaking, pressing, baking, and printing in seconds. And they can stay cool and clean while doing it. As an event of cultural significance, I should also mention that from the very first day the Xerox machines were installed at the college, staff discovered the joy of photocopying their bare bums. This was anatomically impossible under the old process. My third employer, Diversey, was named after a street in Chicago, where they were founded in 1923. Their consumer division today produces brands such as Lysol and Airwick, and their dairy farm division webpage still has a section on udder hygiene, featuring a product called Diazan Teat Foam Advance. I wonder if the staff take it home to their mums. Thanks to my little sister Shirley for sharing her memories of Mr. Jennings and reminding me of some events I'd forgotten. And thanks, Mum, for guiding me through my dead-end days to the discovery of the blue copies that led me to the other side of the door that changed my life. This slice is dedicated to you. Until next time, this is Rye Toast.